that song, In My Life, is all about remembrance. And it's a perfect song to be singing the day before Memorial Day, because Memorial Day is all about the remembrance. So who knows what Memorial Day was first called? Decoration Day. Awesome. And who knows when it started, where it started, and by who, and why? Come on, I told you this last year. Come on now. You didn't take notes? I'm giving you a shorter version than what I have given in the past. I'm giving you the highlights of what this Decoration Day was. And it was at the end of the Civil War, and the dead were everywhere. Their bodies just strewn on the killing fields of Virginia and Georgia, some in half-buried coffins. And there was an enormous spiritual challenge and logistical on how to memorialize all these divine beings who lost their life and gave their life. Listen to this. Approximately 620,000 soldiers died in the war. American deaths in all other wars combined through the Korean conflict totaled 606,000. So 620,000 versus 606,000. If the same numbers of Americans per capita had died in Vietnam as died in the Civil War, 4 million names would be on the Vietnam Memorial. Yeah, this was huge, amazing to have these facts. So in the beautiful port city of Charleston, South Carolina, where the actual war began in April of 1861, it lay in ruin in the spring of 65. Thousands of black Charlestonians, most of them former slaves, remained in the city and started to perform these commemorations for the fallen. The largest of these events, and mostly unknown, took place on May 1st of 1865. And during the final year of the war, the Confederates had converted a plantation owner's horse track. They had converted it basically into an outdoor prison. So during that time, the Union soldiers were kept in this prison that used to be basically a racetrack. So then 28 black workmen went to the site and reburied the Union dead properly and built a high fence around it, and they wrote on it, "Martyrs of the Race Course." Then black Charlestonians, in cooperation with white missionaries and teachers, they staged an unforgettable parade of 10,000 people on the slaveholders' race course. Kind of ironic. At 9 a.m. on May 1st, the procession stopped off, led by 3,000 black school children carrying loads of flowers and singing John Brown's Body. The children were followed by several hundred black women with baskets of flowers, wreaths, and crosses. Then came the black men, marching in cadence, along with contingents of the Union infantry and other black and white citizens. And so they sang some songs, and several black ministers read from the scriptures. And so, like most of Memorial Days that we participate in, there was picnics, and there was speeches, and so on. And the war was over, so the Decoration Day had been founded by the African Americans in a ritual of remembrance and consecration. Big words today. Officially as a national holiday, Memorial Day emerged in 1868. I can read too. When General John Logan called on former Northern soldiers and their communities to conduct ceremonies and decorate graves in their cities. So that became a big thing. And so what happened after that is, aren't you ready to know? Say yes. What happened next? Well, in a joint resolution approved, and it only took them till May 11th, 1950, right? Congress requested the president to issue a proclamation calling on the people of the United States to observe Memorial Day as a day of prayer for permanent peace. Presidents since 1950, including President Barack Obama, have obliged with such an annual proclamation in the days just before the late May holiday. These presidential proclamations have also a prescribed time period, traditionally at 11 a.m. in the locality, as a time for Americans to unite in prayer for peace. So I have a prayer that I think is perfect for today, and prayer for all those trying to keep the peace. So I invite you to close your eyes and join with me as I share this prayer from my heart and from all of our hearts. This was written by Frederick Broussard. Prayer for all those trying to keep the peace. We remember in our prayers this special day all those military personnel who died during wartime, putting their lives on the line for their loved ones and cause of freedom. We are thankful to them for trying to keep the peace according to their inner lights. We also cannot forget the many combatants who died in the line of friendly fire and their ordeal their families went through to find out the truth. We are thankful to them for trying to keep the peace according to their inner lights. We are grateful for the bravery and conviction of nonviolent men and women who refused to go to war and suffered the consequences of their stand. We are thankful to them for trying to keep the peace according to their inner lights. We respect all those resilient souls who have spent their lives protesting against war and paid the price with their own loss of freedom. We are thankful to them for trying to keep the peace according to their inner lights. We mourn the deaths of innocent civilians caught in the crossfire of war. We remember as well the animals, plants, and waters destroyed by the weapons of war. All they wanted, all we wanted, was for the combat to cease so that they could live with dignity. We are thankful to them for trying to keep the peace according to their inner lights. On this Memorial Day of remembrance and reconciliation, we are confident that God has taken all these men, women, and beings into her warm embrace. We hold them in our hearts, and we are thankful to them for trying to keep the peace according to their inner lights. And so be it. I do have some copies of that available if you would like to pick up one in the foyer. And as for the cyber sanctuary, if you're interested in having your copy, then send an email to revliz@Unity Santa Fe. And tomorrow, I'm going to encourage you in the middle of the activities that many of us participate in, and at 11 o'clock, and it doesn't have to be at 11 if you've got something where you can't, but I encourage you to schedule and take time to pray for peace, to affirm peace, to imagine peace, and to feel peace for all the beings, to be living in peace according to their and our inner lights. So would anybody who has served in any of the armed forces here or in the sanctuary please stand so we can honor and thank you for your service? Okay, I'm going to imagine that we have some people that have served that are in the cyber sanctuary. So let us just give a round of applause for all those. And how many of you, perhaps who haven't served, know of someone who has? Yeah, we all have known somebody who has served. And whether we know their names or not, each one left a legacy, their imprint upon us and the world. So I now want to share with you some words about legacy. The definition of legacy is a gift of property as personal property, money by will or trust. Anything handed down from the past as from an ancestor or a predecessor, and something that remains and was left behind from an earlier time, can be tangible or intangible. Legacy means to be remembered. It is what we leave behind. And the truth is, every single one of us is going to leave a legacy, whether we know it or not. Our actions, our words, our relationships are leaving a legacy. It's not something we often think about. Leaving a legacy in whatever form you do puts a stamp into the future. We are planting seeds. When we expire and graduate from our earth school, then we have left something of meaning and purpose behind. So why is it important to know what your legacy is? I mean, it reminds us that, we're all going to pass at some day. I mean, nobody's going to get out of here alive, as they say. And so why is it important to know that? Well, it's not just because it's what we're leaving behind when we die, but it helps us to live a more meaningful life. When you know what your legacy is, it affects your behavior, your words, your actions. It helps you to know what is really important and what it is that you wake up to be and do. How many of you have a to-do list? I know, me too, and it changed, and every day it's a new list. How many of you have a to-be list? Yeah, bring it, come on. What is it you want to be? Okay, so in the morning, this is a practice. What is it that I would like to be today? I would like to be kind. I would like to be present. I would like to be loving, compassionate, while I'm doing all those things that are on my to-do list. Being is more important than doing. How you're being in the doing is what is counting for the legacy that you and I are leaving behind. So, how do I want to be today? How many of you remember the movie Dead Poets Society? Yeah, most of us know it. And that takes place, actually, and this is just a reminder of what it was at a conservative boarding school in 1959. And Robin Williams played John Keating, who was an English teacher who used his poetry to try and inspire his students. In one scene, he talks to his students about the meaning of life by quoting Walt Whitman's poem, "Oh Me, Oh Life." And you know what? Where's the quote? It's probably on a piece of paper somewhere else. Yeah, well, I can't tell you what it is, but it's, I was like, and I'm supposed to read the quote. So I know the last line is, "Oh me, oh life." And he's basically, the quote is all about, and it's a Walt Whitman poem if you want to look it up later, "Oh me, oh life." And his purpose of having them learn that, and his quote of that, is to show them that life is like a play, and we all contribute a verse. We all contribute to the verse of life. And what is your contribution? What is your verse? What will it be? The verse is your legacy that you're going to leave. So the question is, what will your verse be? What will my verse be? What am I contributing to life in this play of life? We're contributing something, and you get to choose. I get to choose what that is. So here's some of the questions that begin with asking. And I'm going to give you my process, because what I ask you to do, Spirit said, Liz, you need to do this. I'm like, okay, boss. So here's the first questions that you can start asking yourself. What do I want to leave in this world? What do I want to leave behind? What is it that I can contribute? What would I like to be remembered for? What would you like to be remembered for? What is yours to do? Why are you even here? That question has eluded me a lot. I mean, I'm like, okay, that sounds like a really big question. And for me to go, why am I here? So, and why, what is it that I'm to leave? Well, personally, I thought, because I've shared this last year about the legacy, but I didn't do what I would ask you to do. And this year, Spirit goes, guess what? You're waking up at 6 o'clock this morning and you're going to write what your legacy is. And I'm like, oh, goody. But it was perfect, because I know Spirit is my boss. So what was interesting is when I wanted to start this, my legacy, what I'd like to be remembered for, and the difference I make as a result of my being here. Now, at first, attempting to answer these questions sounds like it could be a little bit of an ego trip. Well, I was here, I know that you're shaking your head, and yet, I could see that part of it going, well, I did this and I did that, right? I did this and I did that. For those that don't maybe have a spiritual base, maybe that would happen. But I got that, and then there's a part of me that is that, because I wouldn't have thought of it, right? So why am I so important? And I hesitated to write. However, if I change the wording to what is, and I call it the God Self Liz Love Team, because there is a love team. Spirit needs me, Spirit needs you to be its hands, its feet, its voice on earth. We are to be what Spirit is here to be, but it's by means of me and you. So the God Self, always, that's the word I like to know that is inside of me. You can call it higher power, this divine within, but it's within us. And it's the God Self, and it's my name, Liz, but it has to be about love team. What is our God Self, Liz Love Team verse to be? I said, okay, well, that's interesting to change it up. My God Self, or higher power, is here to, by means of me. I love that word, that phrase, by means of me. See, one of my teachers, Mary Morrissey, says, Spirit is ever seeking a freer, fuller, more expanded expression of itself as you, as you, as me, as you, as each one of us. It is seeking to have this bigger expression of itself by means of me and you. That changes the whole thing. The game is over on the human level. It's Spirit life, it's Spirit's desire to have itself fulfilled by means of me. What is its verse? What is the divine through me here to be? What is Spirit by means of me here to do or be? And so these questions take the idea of ego, legacy, to God's mission, purpose, and legacy in life. So here's the 6A and unedited version of my legacy. I haven't even reread it. So I hope it's good. It is, because I didn't write it. My God Self did. What I, Spirit as Liz, am here to be is a beacon of love, of light, of safety, of permission to all to be who we came here to be and already are. To remind others to see others as the magnificent God-loved beings that they truly are. Liz is here simply to love. Love all beings unconditionally, to see beyond the appearances to the wonderful divine child within, and as everyone, regardless of their behavior or outer appearances. I'm here to extend kindness and compassion to all beings, first and foremost to myself, to forgive myself and all others for our mistakes, for our hurting, and for our behaviors. I am here to release all judgments, fears, and worries and concern, to trust, all capitals, which means to rely upon Spirit totally, but to trust fully that in truth there is only one power, one presence, one life, expressing uniquely through and as everyone and everything. To be open, trusting, and true to myself in all my parts, my light and my shadow, to give and be love to myself and my inner children's selves, to parent myself, to have fun, to laugh, to play, to live in light, as light, and to honor and love all the places within myself and others that are hurting, that are fearful, and calling for love. This is my legacy. What is yours? I did mine. Now you have no excuse. In closing, I will share this Ralph Waldo Emerson quote: "To leave the world a little bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, this is to have succeeded." And so it is.